Hello, in this video I'm going to explain to you how to use the getnameinfo function, which is equal to make a DNS request. And with that I will also explain a little bit about the getAddressInfo function. If you're just interested in a working example, just check out the video description below. Before we get started, I want to check out a website with you, and that is Bee's Guide to Network Programming. This is the URL from the website. I was reading this book on IPC, on networking, IPC on Linux or Unix, Linux or Unix, and I didn't really get the idea and how to use all that stuff, and the examples are not working. And then I found this one, and it really gives you a hands-on approach to all that information. It does not give you a full overview, so you better check out some other sources after that, but it gives you a really hands-on experience on all that stuff. Okay, that being said, let's go back. Before I show you the program, this is the output of the program. We put in an IP address, we do a DNS request, right? And it basically just gives us back the host name and some other information, just for completeness and if you play around with the program. Okay, so here's the code. We don't care about the upper part. It just translates integers to nice strings, and we have a nice output here. We don't care about that so much. We care about the main function. And especially we care about the getnameinfo and getAddressInfo here. So getnameinfo gets an address and gives you back a host name. So it basically does the DNS request for you. By saying this, the host and the service variable are your output variables, while the looks a little bit strange here, but the address info and the length of the address are the input information. So imagine it like the IP address and the length of the IP address. You also probably figured out that this is the Google IP address over here. This is our input, and we don't put it in directly here because it does not work. It doesn't necessarily have the network byte order, and where the hell is the port in this thing here? If you think you can encode the port like this, no, it won't work, okay? So it's a little bit troublesome to get this address into something that getnameinfo understands. And if you check out older tutorials, then they do stuff by hand. We don't need to do this anymore. We use the getAddressInfo function. Don't make it wrong. It does not mean get IP address info. This is what I thought first. I got a little bit confused here, but it says getAddressInfo, which refers, as you see on the markings, to the struct that is called addressinfo. So it creates you something that you can then use with getnameinfo. You put in your address and the service you're interested. What is a service? A service could be HTTP, not HTTP. Or a service could be HTTPS. Or a service could be SSH. A service could also be 80 or 20. So you can put in the numbers or the service names, whatever you like. But we're interested in any service, so we type in null. And then I like this parameter, which is called hint in all the other tutorials or man pages or whatever. I don't know, maybe my understanding of hint is wrong, but for me this is basically just a filter. So we tell it that we're only interested in, see, this is the filter, we set it up here. We are only interested in UDP sockets, and we're only interested in sockets with IP version 4. We're not interested in sockets with IP version 6, only IP version 4. Of course, you could set this to null, and you would get any IP family or anything that's possible there. So really, this is a filter. This is what it does. So I don't understand what's called hint. Anyway, okay, so and this is, we get a result here. This is our output out variable. We should align this more prettier here. Okay, this is our result, and you see that we are actually for looping over that thing because it's actually not one result, but it's a linked list. I think you already read about that one. Why do we actually have a linked list? Because we have various sockets that we could actually use here. I hope I'm not confusing the word socket here. Let's say we have various results, stay safe, that we could actually use here. For example, we set our filter here, we only want IP version 4 results. But if we set this filter to null, we get IP version 4 and IP version 6, of course, because we didn't set the filter. So we have naturally two different results if the target supports both. Usually, when you get more results, you would check for a so-called valid one. I'm not sure what valid means. I'm not too much into this topic, but this is what I read. The reason why I'm just stupidly foring over all that stuff is because I want to just give all the results out. So you can play around nicely. So you can maybe type in different addresses, can type in different services, can play around with the filter, and you see how this stuff changes. And at the end, don't forget, free all that stuff. Otherwise, you will have a memory leak. Okay, that's it so far. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you got smarter than you were before. If you have any comments or questions, put them in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching.